Hello, friends. Once again, this is Chet Gallagher thanking you so much for your willingness to understand the strategy going forward and the necessary time that we're living in. I hope that these communications, these brief audio, visual emails are helpful to you. I want to talk about another argument that you'll be faced with when talking to legislators, and that is this regarding the fiscal note. Now, a fiscal note is the money that it's going to cost to pass a law and to enforce the law. And so every bill has to go through this fiscal committee. And so what's happened with the Tennessee Natural Marriage Defense Act is that there has been a fiscal note, an amount of money presumed, suspected, possibly resulting in an amazing amount of money in order to maintain the constitutional definition of marriage as only being between one man and one woman, and to defy the federal judiciary in the process. Those that have been given the opportunity to research this, though we haven't seen any of the research, but only the report by this fiscal committee, saying that the amount of money that it will take for this particular bill to be not only voted upon, but then actually put into law and defended, would be not $8 million, which would be reasonable if it was just what the Attorney General or the House budget might increase in order to defend those who are standing on their oath of office and standing against wickedness, but $8.5 billion. Yes, I said that with a B. $8.5 billion. Now, how can a bill, I asked Representative Pody just recently, have you ever heard of any bill, any law in this legislature that you're a part of resulting in an $8.5 billion fiscal note? And he laughed and said, no, it's never happened before. And what is it? It's an assumption that if, in fact, these legislators seize the opportunity to interpose and to bring this to the floor for a vote and succeed in passing the Tennessee Natural Marriage Defense Act, if they were to do that, that there is this probability, that's the word of the committee, probability that some of the benefits that are undergirded and supported and financed by the federal government in Tennessee, they could find Tennessee in non-compliance with the federal mandate and withdraw their money. What is this, friends? Listen, this is extortion. This is, if the legislators were to cave in and accept this, would be accepting the bribe, accepting the money. Now, friends, here's the truth. Opposing wickedness is a good thing. Accepting a bribe is a bad thing. Doing the right thing is a good thing. Submitting to extortion and being broken in the process is a bad thing. Are we going to do what's right or cave in to what has been terribly, terribly wrong in this threat to keep men and women from doing the right thing? And that's the issue with this fiscal note. The other thing to understand is that already we have examples, though the committee member couldn't find any examples at the time and no one brought this to light, but there's already examples. We have now in America resistance to the federal government on a couple of counts. Sanctuary cities where immigrants, unlawful, illegal immigrants, over 300 sanctuary cities have opposed the federal government and the federal government's immigration laws. And as a result, have they had to pay billions of dollars or millions of dollars or even hundreds of thousands of dollars in loss of federal funds? No. The state of Colorado, not just for medical marijuana, but just for recreational marijuana, they have instituted laws in defiance and in noncompliance to the federal drug laws. And have they been forced to pay or submit to the federal mandate of not being in compliance of the law and therefore losing federal funds? Has that happened in Colorado? It has not. we want to be sure that this fiscal note does not prevent this bill from being passed. Here's what will happen. Once we receive the pledges of 66 members of the House, and Representative Pody then goes on Rule 53, suspending the other rules and bringing his bill, where it died in committee, back to life, to the floor of the Senate, immediately before he can even mention what that bill is about, he'll make a motion to bring House Bill 1412 from the committee, even before he can even say it's about marriage or begin articulating any defense. The next thing that's going to be raised is there'll be an immediate motion to send it not to the floor, but to the Fiscal Committee, where the $8.5 billion fiscal note can be addressed. The legislators must also commit not only to give a favorable vote for the motion allowing this to be brought from the committee to the floor, but also must do the same and say, no, we don't want this to go to any other committee. We want to settle this today, vote on this bill. And that's exactly what has to happen. Because to bring it out of committee to the floor only to send it back to another committee to be killed would be a fruitless effort. So we're asking that those legislators, those 66 who would allow it to be brought to the floor, an immense task. God would certainly have to be in this. Is God in this? We believe that he is. Can he do it? Certainly that and more. But also to resist sending it off to another committee to be killed. We're going to talk about the real motive and why we have to hold men and women accountable for their lack of interposition and grace them and pray for them and praise them if they do interpose. And that will be the topic of our next few moments together. Thank you again for your attention. Thank you for allowing us to forward these brief audio-visual messages to you. I hope that they've been a source of encouragement. And again, courtscannotmakelaws.com. Go there. If you have a question, you can actually submit your question in writing by registering your email, and those questions can come directly not only to me, but Pastor Matt Truilla, who's authored the bill on the lesser magistrate, some of the attorneys involved in this effort. We'll do our very best to answer your questions, but register first and be sure that you're getting our updates. courtscannotmakelaws.com/Tennessee. Again, I greet you in Jesus' name. I pray blessing over you and yours and trust that God is provoking us to good works and to do righteous deeds out of our love and obedience to him. I bless you in Jesus' name, friends.